Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. Hey everybody, welcome to SunshinehazeCo. I'm Aja A. For those of y'all that have not ever seen one of the many videos that I have up on this channel at this point, take your pick. I got a grip of them. This video is not our regular moon video or me talking about retrogrades or whatever. This time around I actually kind of forgot amidst everything that's going on, but I was like, oh, it's so what we're dealing with now with all this coronavirus stuff. Like, I'm just like, oh, I definitely need to put up a video about this Saturn transit. It is March 20th today. Tomorrow Saturn transits into Aquarius for a little bit, and then it'll kick back into Capricorn for a minute during the retrograde, and it'll pop back into Aquarius for the next couple of years at the end of the year. So I wanted to come in here and talk to you guys about that, because Saturn does have a lot to do with how we see things play out in our day-to-day. So just to go on and get started, let's get right into it. If you don't know anything about the astrologies, Saturn is considered an outer planet, but it's also considered a social planet. Saturn is in like mythology and in actually like modern astronomy, like Saturn is as far as you can see with the eye if you're really like out there looking. But on a more spiritual level, Saturn is considered like the edge of the universe. So it sits right at the point of, you know, what's real, what's tangible for us, and then what is beyond, what is unknown. So Saturn is like the guardian of the galaxy, so to speak. As far as energy is concerned, hey mama, we'll go walking as soon as I'm done. Okay, don't look so sad. We will go as soon as I'm done. I also don't want to go outside in the snow, but I guess I got to, huh? I guess I have to, huh? What was I saying, y'all? As far as energy is concerned, Saturn carries a paternal energy. Saturn is a karmic planet. Saturn has to do with our structure, our foundation, so and our responsibility. Also, no, that's more Aquarius. And also our traditions. Say, wait, that doesn't go there. That goes down here. So wherever Saturn is at in your natal chart, if we're gonna get a little bit more personal, wherever you have Saturn placed in your natal chart, that's where you'll see, Saturn's also associated with our restrictions and our limitations. So that's where you'll see yourself restricted, where you'll see these limitations in regards to just how you live your life, but that's also where you're going to do the most work and gain the most achievements. So Saturn rules Capricorn. It also shares partial rulership with Uranus, as far as Aquarius goes. So Saturn is at home as it is making this transit. It was at home in Capricorn, but we're going to be moving into a completely different energy, talking about Aquarius here, as far as Saturn is concerned. And Capricorn and Aquarius are associated with our 10th and 11th houses, and that covers, you know, our social status, our achievement. I was talking about that earlier. Our friendships, relationships, go a little bit further into that. Also, our personal freedom and our rewards. So we are looking at a time where these are the parts of our lives that are going to be touched by this Saturn transit in Aquarius, and also coming off of Saturn in Capricorn. If you don't know much about Aquarius, I gotta take a sip. Again, if you don't know much about the astrologies, Aquarius is considered the water bearer. People confuse Aquarius with a water sign a lot of the time because it is the water bearer, but Aquarius is an air sign. It is a fixed energy, it's opposite Leo. It's a fixed energy, and Aquarians, they are very innovative. Aquarius is very much so associated with the energy of intellect. Aquarians are also very individualistic. They like to do their own thing. I'm thinking of I'm thinking of like there are 3 Aquarians in my head, or people with Aquarius placements in my head, and I'm just like, yeah, they like to do their own thing. They you know, they walk to the beat of their own drum, whatever that beat is. But you know, that's okay, because that's what we're all going to be doing in these next 2.5 years. And Aquarians are also known for, for doing the work that they set their minds to, because they come up with these ideas and it's like, oh, well, I have this idea, I gotta just go on and do it. Like I said, they are an air energy. So you just gone. You just, okay. Alright, am I in your way? I'm in your way? Okay. Anyways. Now, Chelsea, you gotta move your tail off my notebook, mama. We can't do this. Thank you. Alright, so we're reading the notes through Dogtail. Bear with me. So, before I talk about, before I talk about Saturn in Aquarius for these next couple of years, I do want to just briefly speak about Saturn leaving Capricorn. And I was laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know I have a video up talking about Saturn in Capricorn, and I'm like, well, when did I put that video up? And I had to go back and do the research, and I'm like, oh shit, Saturn went into Capricorn back in 2017. And so I tried to scroll down through my videos to find it, and it stopped after a certain point, like sometime last year. And so I flipped it, and it was my date added oldest. And would y'all know, my second video on this channel, and just like a little snippet of the video, I'm talking about Saturn going into Aquarius. I am going to put the link down there, but I just want to say now that we have grown so much since then, so just know that. I started talking about it somewhere in the middle of the video, but I was watching it like, wow, girl, like, you have come so far. you have made some progress, because what are you talking about? But I did drop a little bit of knowledge in that video in regards to what we were dealing with over these past couple of years. Saturn being in Aquarius, Saturn being in Capricorn, and Saturn being a paternal energy, and Capricorn also being the father of the zodiac, we were really dealing with this very strict, very like, get your shit together type energy. Although Saturn was at home in Capricorn, so it was a harmonious energy. It was like a harmonious ass whooping into getting our lives together. So that's why these past couple of years have been so rough for everybody, especially people with like hella Capricorn placements or hella cardinal placements, or, you know, people that have Saturn in Capricorn. You guys, congratulations, y'all are coming out of your Saturn returns. Babies, y'all made it through. I am sorry for all that you had to endure, but for real, congratulations. If you don't know anything about Saturn returns, listen, those are the times when your lives get either shaken up or things really shift for you, depending on the type of work that you're doing, or if you're doing any work at all. And I'm actually going to be putting out a series of all of like the different placements over the course of this year, in which I'll talk about Saturn in the different signs and houses, and whatever sign I'm talking about, I'll also talk about Saturn in retrograde and your Saturn return in that sign. So look out for those. They ain't going up now, but they will be going up over, you know, the next few, whenever I sit down and plan them videos out, whatever. But anyways, so we were dealing with a very tough energy over the past 2.5 years. You may have noticed, like, really trying to make moves and really having a hard time doing it, but that's because, if y'all remember me saying, and I said it so many times, I'm kind of sad because I'm like, well, what can I say now? I don't have a catchy slogan for this placement. Crumbling foundations in order to clear out space and make way for new pillars. That was what Saturn in Capricorn was all about. So if you were trying to make moves over the past couple of years and they weren't happening for you, it's because there were still things that you needed to work on. Again, remember, like a harmonious ass whooping into getting our shit together. So there were still things that you needed to work on in order for you to get to the point that you are in now, because where you're at now with Saturn transiting into Aquarius, life is about to get real wild, but like in a good way. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. Literally, I want you guys to see my notes here. I'm like, I have a note here talking about like getting ready for what's coming in. And I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm like, I was sitting there trying to write like what's coming in. Those are question marks. Like, I don't know. With Aquarius, I have no idea, but Aquarius, it's gonna be fun. That's all I can really tell you guys. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be wild, and it's gonna be a ride, and it's gonna be a time to write about and a time to reminisce on in later years, guys. I mean, we've got Saturn in Aquarius. You know how we were talking about the age of Aquarius? Like, this is what I truly consider the age of Aquarius. We're gonna have Saturn in Aquarius for the next couple of years. And this is when shit's gonna get really interesting. I was born during a time when Saturn was in Aquarius. I was born in 92, so ding, ding, ding. I'm getting ready to hit my Saturn return, like literally tomorrow, and then I get a taste of it starting tomorrow. But we've been riding on the shadow for a minute, so I'm hip. I'm starting to see some things. I hope that those of you with that placement are kind of observing and seeing things as well, if you really do pay attention to astrology. But so with that being said, let me just segue into the next note that I have here since I've turned the page. People with natal Saturn placements, we are idealists. We are big successful manifestors. If we come from well, there are a couple other sets of us, but you know, I don't think anybody I don't know, I might have some people in their 50s and 60s watching me, but you know, right now people that have these placements are 27, 28, 29, getting ready to turn 30. We're idealists. We're big manifestors. We are considered millennials. So and you know, there's a little bit of a negative connotation about us doing what we want to do, but that's because we have these ideas in our heads, and we know that they're going to work because they're different from what has been presented before, right? We are intelligent, and we're also very creative. This is a very creative time, and these next couple of years are going to be a time where we see a lot of like projects coming out, a lot of collaborations. That's what I'm excited for. With this Aquarian energy and Saturn and, you know, foundations and stuff, I'm excited for the creative industry because we're going to see a lot of dope things start to pop up and start to manifest, and a lot of, you know, really dope businesses and a lot of dope products and dope art. And oh, I'm so excited. In these next couple of years, I would go so far as to say we're going to get a couple more greats in regards to, you know, the artist scene, visual art scene, in regards to the music scene. And also we'll probably get some like really cool actors or actresses coming up that are really pushing or testing the limits. Mark my words, I'm going to come back to this video in a couple of years and be like, hey guys, remember when I said I'm going to post it on my Instagram or whatever new platforms we have in a couple of years, because this is a time where technology is going to be taken off too. But let me go back to, you know, what I was saying. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. We're kicking into Aquarius with Saturn tomorrow on March 21st, but we're only going to be there until July 1st of this year, and then we're going to go into retrograde, going back into Capricorn. And I'll have a video up about that a little bit around that time, but just be mindful that around that chapter, that little chunk that little chunk coming up after July 1st, going through the end of through mid-December, December 17th, things might get a little sticky, things might get a little heavy. We're going to be moving Saturn back into Earth, so, you know, be prepared, be mindful, be doing the work now so you don't have to come back around for another little tapping on that ass by Father Capricorn. But, yeah, let me just I done said all of that already. So I talked about Saturn being at home in Aquarius. It was at home in Capricorn, but we're moving away from that heavy, like, really figuring things out, really, like, clearing space out, breaking things down. We're moving into a light, airy energy with Aquarius, and we're moving into a very innovative time as well. So instead of, you know, that crumbling foundations to clear out space to make way for new pillars, we've cleared the space out. So now it is build upon the foundations in order for us to, you know, live our best lives. We've cleared out all this space in order for us to be free to do whatever it is that we want to do. And Aquarius is associated with the entire idea of freedom. If you think about any Aquarians that you know, they do not like to be constricted, they don't like to be restricted, they don't like to be told what to do. They have their ideas. They can be a little hard-headed, a little you know, a little one-track minded sometimes when they're operating in their shadow sides. But if you think about people that carry that Aquarian energy, they are always you know, trying to do the next best thing that's going to keep them happy, going to keep them feeling like they are free to just live the life that they want to live. And so with Saturn moving into Aquarius, away from Capricorn, or moving away from doing what we got to do and into doing what we want to do, and being able to do so because we've done the work. That's a lot of doing and done it and all of that in that sentence, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? So to go a little bit further into that, we're going to be going forward. Saturn is all about foundation. Saturn is all about our traditions and our structure. So with it being in Aquarius, as we're coming up with these new ideas and these creative ideas and ways to get to these spaces that we want to be in, we're going to tap into that air energy and catch a little bit of wind and, you know, breeze on through and breeze to where we need to be. So we are going for gold. We are doing what we want to do, and we're going to be happy doing it. Like you're stretching, you're living your best life. Oh, yes, girl. Yes, stretch it out, mama. And you covered my notebook again. You're probably doing this because you want to go outside. She was like, no notes for you. Hurry up. You little spoiled honorary dog. You are spoiled, mama. Yeah. Distractions, y'all. Aquarius. That was very Aquarian. Aquarius sometimes is considered the mad scientist. So over the next couple of years, we're kind of going to be rocking with that energy in regards to how we do things and how we build the foundation. So like, for example, if there's something that you want to do or some dream that you have, you may have been told you got to do this A, B, and C, X, Y, Z, etc., so on and so forth, in order to find yourself in a successful position in that field or in that space. With Saturn in Aquarius, listen, you might be sitting there one day doing something that you were told you have to do to get to that space, and you might be like, oh, fuck this shit, I got this wild idea, and I'm about to clock out real quick. I'm gonna take some sick time. I'm about to go see what this is about. And before you know it, you're gonna look up and be doing what you want to do because you took that chance, that wild, crazy ass idea. And here you are, Saturn in Aquarius, and you are living your best life because you blew by on the breeze that way and you decided to lay your foundation in this new crazy idea that you had. So do not be surprised. Don't be taken aback when things like that start to happen. And when you get these ideas, don't brush them away. Don't be like, oh, that's crazy. Don't think that is not feasible. With this Saturn and Aquarius energy, we're really coming into the space to where we're dropping the M from impossible. The impossible becomes possible. There's nothing that we can't do over this next 2.5 years. Just gonna keep it real, keep it completely 100, y'all. If there's something that you have your mind set on, something that you've been thinking about, especially if you were working towards this with Saturn and Capricorn and you couldn't quite get a grip on how to get to that point, listen, this is the time to start trucking to it, and this is the time to start thinking about other ways to make that happen. Message, okay? Also, I tapped on this a little bit earlier. I said something about technology. So with Aquarius, and you know, Aquarius, Saturn shares rulership with Uranus over Aquarius. So we are dealing with we are also going to be dealing with a shift in technology. I do not believe in coincidence. I don't think that it's interesting that we've had shows like The Expanse and shows like The 100 pop up. I think there's going to be, and especially with Saturn being the guardian of the galaxy, the edge of the universe, the divider between the known and the unknown, right? You know, I'm just going to throw this out there. Technology is going to improve. They've probably already been working on some wild shit. If y'all don't watch The Expanse or if y'all don't watch The 100, y'all should get on those shows. There are some things in there that'll have you like, I believe everything stems from a little bit of truth. So like there's going to be a lot of innovation in regards to technology that we see and the technology that we don't see. There's going to be y'all, I've really been watching The Expanse. So I'm big on right now like space shows. I'm like, listen, they are working on sending people to space, like to kick it, to live in preparation for whatever. I don't know, but listen, watch some shows. Okay. Just go watch the show so you can be here with me and understand why I'm saying this. But you know, how we see like an Apple phone come out, an iPhone or a Samsung phone come out every year, they're gonna be up in the ante. We're gonna be getting new types of phones. I wouldn't be surprised. Like we're seeing like these cameras being integrated into these phones. It's gonna get even more wild than it already is. iPads and Kindles, those are about to be things of the past. Like technology is about to take a turn for like a supercharged, futuristic like change in whatever is going on. So just be mindful, but also don't spend all your money on all that stuff. Just do your research, pay attention, but don't be surprised when you see these things start to pop up. Oh, Black Mirror is another show that kind of has some of those little essences in there in regards to all that technology, like futuristic type weirdo chips and AI stuff. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent, so I'm gonna bring it back. I'm not gonna Aquarius on y'all. By the way, my chart is ruled by Saturn. I'm a rising Capricorn, but my first house is in Aquarius. It's placed in Aquarius. In the degree that my rising sign falls in. Listen, we could talk about that. I might put up a video about the placements in my chart so y'all can get to know me a little bit better. But so yeah, sometimes I do toss a little bit of Aquarius, but that's the only air that I have in my chart. Saturn in Aquarius, and then my chart is ruled by Aquarius. But yeah, so listen, I'm over here like, okay, what episode am I watching right now? I gotta tap back in, but we're gonna bring it back. The last note that I have here in regards to Saturn being in Aquarius or transiting into Aquarius has to do with the collective conscious. Becoming more of a thing. We talk about this collective conscious now, but it's not really a thing. And I'm not saying that a collective conscious to where we all melt and mold together and share the same ideology. No, because we're dealing with Aquarian energy, we're going to be dealing with the collective by way of still maintaining our individuality. Again, Aquarians are individuals that deal with the collective. They are the water bearers. They bring the water to us. So for example, Saturn in Capricorn has really, with that crumbling foundations, breaking things down, really in that karmic energy, really exposing things that are not right, in regards to like the government, in regards to like all of this immigration stuff and how people are being treated that weren't born here in the States. You know what I'm saying? Like just being treated horribly for just not being born in a hospital here in the United States. Seeing things happening overseas, seeing things happening with as far as like the White House goes and y'all's president and him in these dealings with Russia and things of these sort, right? In these like impeachment trials that you guys, I'm gonna have to put up other videos. I'm gonna have to have like a little section where I might have to kick game to y'all about like politics and all this other shit, but I don't, trying to keep my conspiracy theorist at bay. But anyways, we saw all of that with Saturn in Capricorn. Where we're at now, coming with Saturn in Aquarius, is coming together as a collective and being able to work cohesively as one unit, i.e. as humanity, and starting to correct these things and coming up with new ideas and new ways to really shift the bad out of what we've got going for us here in the present. So it's going to be a lot of, people getting taken out of office. There's going to be a lot of, it's going to be a lot more exposure of things like of corruption in politics and, in the way that we're dealing with certain political issues and dealing with certain world issues. There's also going to be, I just had this at the tip of my tongue and I didn't have it written down, and earlier I was like, remember you need to say this. What was I thinking about? I don't know, y'all, but excuse me. But with Saturn being in Aquarius and Saturn being at home in Aquarius, this is another harmonious placement. So whatever it is that is shifting, whatever, again, we're still clearing out with Capricorn, because remember, we tap back into Capricorn for a spell during this year. Whatever we're clearing out, whatever we're still, exposing, breaking down, showing the shadow side of it, so that when we really get into Saturn and Aquarius coming up towards the end of this year, going into the next following 2 years, is so that we can really build foundations in what works for us and what helps us all as a whole live our best lives. Helps us all get to that point of being free to do so, okay? So, as I just said, this is a time for freedom to be and actually live our best lives, but also just keep in mind that this is Saturn, it is karmic, so everything that's supposed to be will be during this next 2.5 years. My poor little babies with Saturn in Aquarius, it is time for our Saturn return, but now that I know more about astrology, I'm like, this is probably going to be more of a wild time than it is going to be like tragic and like detrimental, and like we're different from Saturn and Capricorn. Like, our shit's not as heavy, but it's definitely gonna get a little weird. I have this joke with Zim's cat, Smooshy, is a Cancer, and we go on adventures to the lake sometimes. And so like sometimes when we're not at the lake and she's like licking herself, and I'll pick her up not knowing that she licked herself and her fur is all wet, and I'm always like, Moosh, you're wet and weird. So like Saturn in Aquarius might get a little wet and weird by way of the fact that it is the water bearer. So like just be prepared, especially if you are hitting your Saturn return, okay? People that are going to be the most affected by this transit are, of course, people with Saturn in Aquarius, or people with a lot of Aquarian placements in your chart, or people with your charts ruled by Saturn. Also Capricorn, because we are coming off of Saturn and Capricorn as well, okay? What else? Pay attention. Just keep yourself sane, but really pay attention, because we're going to Saturn in an air sign. So like I said, it's gonna get really wild, really weird, but it's also gonna be hella fun. Like, I'm excited for these next couple of years. It's gonna be a really interesting time. All right, it's time for my shameless plugs. I'm like, how far? How many minutes? Kept it under 30. We did good. Shameless plugs, videos that I have coming up in the next like week or so. Aries new moon video. I'm gonna also have the April tarot forecast, and also the April pick a card for the month reading. Check out, I'm getting ready to, because I just feel like I have to check out, I am gonna pull some cards on this coronavirus bullshit. Yeah, I said it. I'm gonna pull some cards, give you guys some insight, hopefully a little bit into what to expect, or how to, you know, get through however long we're supposed to be dealing with this. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that that gave y'all some insight. Oh, I'm also going to be offering to, and I'm sorry I didn't do this for those of y'all with Saturn and Capricorn. You know what? I'll do it for those of you guys with Saturn and Capricorn too. If you can send me a screenshot of your natal chart, I will give you a discount on the Saturn transit reading, which I have not uploaded yet, but it'll be up later on tonight. Give you some insight into your Saturn return. Basically, it's a Saturn return reading. Nobody's going to book it except for people with their Saturn in Capricorn or Aquarius, possibly Pisces, because yours will be the couple of years following this one. But I will have a sale going on for people with Aquarius and Aquarius and Capricorn Saturn placements. Just click on the link. It'll be up within the next like 24 hours, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me ramble about Saturn. And hopefully, like I said, this provides y'all with some insight. Talk to me, drop some comments down below, check out all the links, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace.